All right, so you're getting into self-improvement and you want someone in your corner to give some advice to you, whether it's Alex Hormozy, Grant Mitt, Tony Robbins, or any one of these guys. But you're wondering, who should you listen to? Because you can't listen to all of them at once, and they all have like podcasts or shows, and it'd be insane to consume all their content from all these different people. So in this video, I'll be explaining, which ones I really enjoyed listening to, and rate them based on, value, how their delivery is, and just honestly if what they say is true or not. So with that, let's get into it. And you're wondering, who the heck should I listen to? So these are all people that I've listened to at some point in time or continue to still listen to pretty much on the daily. And I'm just going to tell you a brief description about them, what I like, dislike about them. And I'm going to be rating them too at the end. So I got all of them here, their little podcast things or whatever shows they have, and I'll be rating them. Also got this little notebook on the side here just to keep me on track. So if I look down every once in a while, it's just me making sure this video is going along to plan. So starting out, they're in order, the slideshow I made, they're in order of how I discovered them, how recently. So the first one's first, when I just first started my self-improvement journey to, all the way recently to about, a month or two ago, I discovered this last person on the list. So right now, this is not in order. This is I just put them right here. So I'm going to be rating them out of 10, broke it up into two sections. First one is like the value that they provide. So how I really define value is it to the point, if it's like something really good, like a really good podcast, but it takes 4 hours, it's not very valuable. It's just how concise you can get it, and honestly how true it is. If there's someone just just spewing hogwash, it's just not true. It's not very valuable. It's not going to help you and not be worth your time listening to them. And also the second criteria I'm rating them on is, are they enjoyable to listen to? Like, how is their delivery? Does it make sense? Is it clear? Does it get the point across quickly? And is it entertaining to listen to? So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one. Just Eman Gadzi. I think I pronounced that right. But first on the list, because he's the first one I discovered. Honestly, there's a special place for Eman for me, because it was the first really person I listened to that was, young, successful, fit, all that stuff. And I was like, at the same time, I was doing yard work at some place during the summer for work, trying to get paid, my $12 an hour, just pulling weeds or something like that. And I started listening to this guy, and I was like, wow, this guy, made $1 million by 18 and has all this stuff. It just kind of opened my whole possibilities and just really inspired me. So it kind of set me on this whole self-improvement path, to be completely honest. So really liked his content. So his specialty, I kind of talked about each one's specialty. His is agencies. That's what he did, started an agency, which is pretty much just like a service-based company. And also, he was pretty relatable in some sense because he was young. He wasn't too much older than me. I think at the time, I was probably 16. I listened to him. He was like in his mid or early 20s when I first found him or something like that. So definitely inspiring. So for value, I gave him a 3.9 out of 5. He's inspiring to me. Has good advice, but also, as I got into more self-improvement, listening to other people, his advice is kind of basic. But I mean, that's fine. It's just good stuff. We need reminded more than we need taught. So a lot of these things, if it's basic advice, doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, it's pretty repetitive. You can pretty much get that same advice anywhere from any podcast to any book. And for delivery, give him a 4.3 out of 5. It makes sense. But the one thing I didn't really like is he tries to sell too much. His agency, his courses, whatever it is. A lot of his videos are kind of pitchy. I didn't really like that too much. So that's Eman Gadzi. Next up, we got Hamza. This guy is an interesting fellow. So Hamza, why I liked him, is because he's pretty relatable. That was the main thing. His specialty is girls and how to start self-improvement. So from 0 to 1. That's pretty much what he specializes in. His story is pretty interesting. If you're a young guy, you'll find him pretty entertaining to listen to. It's pretty relatable. But I like listening to him because he talked about, starting from not even nothing, in the negatives, pretty much, out of shape, smoking all the time, working a terrible job, and now he makes a bunch of money, whatever, and helps other people out. Definitely inspired me a lot to just get started, because I was like, this guy was a complete loser, and, he just started making videos, started working out, all those things. So the one thing that I really don't like about him is, for one, all he really cares about, not necessarily all, but a huge part for him is just of self-improvement. The whole point is pretty much to have more sex. And it's a lot of his courses, his videos is pretty much how to do that, which is pretty, he talks against being degenerate and stuff like that, but that's really kind of what it is. So he's kind of hypocritical. And also, this one video I listened to not too long ago, pretty much where he talked about, if you're wrong about something, don't admit it. Don't admit you're wrong, which on a surface level makes sense, but that's not the kind of character I like. He also has a huge ego, but besides that, pretty interesting to listen to, pretty funny. If you're just getting started in self-improvement, I would recommend. Let's see. Value, I gave him a 3 out of 5. And delivery, I gave him a 4.8 out of 5. Why the delivery is so high is because if you're just getting started in self-improvement, you're a young guy, you pretty much can eat up his stuff. It's pretty entertaining. It's just relatable. And if you're just getting started, it's pretty fun. So sorry, I'm clearing my throat sometimes. I don't know why at all, to be honest. Like normally it's because I have dairy, but I haven't had any dairy. So that's interesting. But anyway, next up, we got the Alex Hormozi. And I don't know if you guys will tell by the way I'm talking about him, but he is my favorite. So we'll just throw that out there. I joke, I listen to him a lot, and pretty much anytime I pod it in, like, oh, what are you listening to? I say the sweet voice. My parents just know I'm listening to Alex Hormozi. So this guy, specialty is definitely business, anything business related, and frameworks. He does all these really cool mental frameworks he comes up with that just help you get through life. And whether it's business frameworks, how to handle their people, how to handle yourself, how to handle rejection, all these frameworks of just how to handle stuff. You can also just tell by listening to him. This guy's IQ is just insane. You can just tell this guy is so smart. So for value, I gave him a 4.9 out of 5. And the only reason that's not a 5 out of 5 is because some of this stuff gets really business specific. And unless you own a business, then it's not very valuable. But if I did own a business, then this would be the most valuable by far, because it's exactly to the point what you need. You can find what you're looking for, get advice from. If you sat down with this guy for like 30 minutes, it'd be like, I don't know, probably couple thousand bucks of your time or something like that. But you can watch a video and he can handle exactly, you can get the exact kind of business advice you need. For most of us who don't own a business, then it's like some of his content is just like, it doesn't really apply to me. For delivery, I give him a 5 out of 5 because it's just quick and concise. It makes sense. And it's just true. Like he's tested all his theories. It makes sense and he's worked it out. So he just gives so much value. And yeah, Alex Hormozi, in my opinion, the GOAT. All right, next we got Grant Mitt. His full name is like Grant Mitterlehner, but the last name is just too long. So his specialty is sales. He does like sales, has like a solar company, something like that. Also recently he's been doing like a lot of affirmations in his podcasts, just like quick videos about affirmations. They're pretty nice. He's really positive, and he focuses a lot on leadership. So for value, I give him a 3.9 out of 5. It's pretty basic, but good. And delivery, I give him a 4.3 because it's good, but it's about average. I mean, he's clear, he gets his point across, makes sense, but it's nothing spectacular. It's kind of how I just remark him. He makes solid content. It's good. It's positive. Can inspire you, but it's nothing like too amazing. But it's also nothing too terrible. So overall, it's about average. It's pretty cool to listen to. Definitely would recommend, but I think there's others that are better on the list. All right, next we got Ed Mylett, and this guy's probably the one I've listened to the least. So take my things with a grain of salt. But specialty is just really positive, and the stuff he talked about is pretty general, like self-help stuff, which is good and great for a lot of people, but I really don't like that. For me, when I hear about general help, self-improvement stuff, it just seems fluffy to me and just basic. Like, I don't want to hear like, oh, you gotta do good and believe in yourself. Like, bro, who cares? Like, give me stuff that actually is different and will help me. So for value, I gave him a 2.7. It's basic, and his podcasts are pretty long, and it's just like, if I'm not getting very much stuff and it takes a long time to get, then it's like, pretty basic value. Delivery, 3.3 out of 5. It's interesting, but long and fluffy, like I said. Yeah, I just didn't really like his Ed Mylett show. I'm sure he's got some better content. Some people may like him, but wasn't the best for me. All right, next we got Andy Elliott. So especially is sales. This guy does sales training. All he does is sales. So for value, I gave him a 4.4. So very good. He's just clear, makes sense. Concise, definitely delivers point. It's whatever he's done is tested. He's definitely proves himself in the sales field, but that's pretty much all he talks about is sales. So unless you're into sales, it's not as valuable to you. So if this was like just like rating podcasts for sales, this would be a 5 out of 5, but this is just general self-improvement, and since all he talks about sales is he got some points off. Delivery, he got a 3.9 out of 5 because for me he's like super intense. I don't know if that's just a sales guy, but I just like, maybe it's good for people because they like being yelled at, but that's pretty much all his podcasts. The other thing is he talks about the same stuff pretty much over and over again, just general sales stuff over and over again, which is good if you're into sales, but if you're not, it's just pretty repetitive. What he talks about though is pretty clear, it makes sense. I definitely, I think I should listen to him more. This guy I haven't listened to too much, but since I want to get into sales more, honestly, everything relates to sales in some way, shape, or form, I definitely should listen to this guy more, and I would recommend. All right, next up, we got Dan Martell. So his specialty is AI. He does a lot of AI ventures, stuff like that. It's kind of his whole business now is investing in AI companies. And also, he wrote this book called Buy Back Your Time, and pretty much he talks about how to buy back your time. So if that makes sense. So value, give him a 4.6 out of 5. because he gives really good AI information. He's kind of my guy for AI and business. I'm sure there's tons of other podcasts about AI, but I just like the way he frames it. It's kind of what he does, so he knows a lot. Pretty trusted in that area, and it gives me ideas on like what to do for AI, just about the general things, everything from like email, like autoresponders to callers, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. He has really good life tips too, and he's pretty practical. His advice is really good. Delivery, I give him a 5 because it's clear, to the point, makes sense, and some of his content's pretty fun and entertaining. So yeah, he's pretty high up there on the list. I listen to him pretty often. He's fun to listen to. Gives me ideas about how to use AI, and yeah, just really good. Good guy to listen to. Would recommend. Next up, we got Tony Robbins. All right, we're getting close to the end of the list here. So he's super motivational. Some people call him like the GOAT of self-improvement. And he's definitely the biggest name on this list, so pretty much everyone's heard of Tony Robbins. The one thing for me is some of his stuff, since his like information and stuff he does is so broad, it kind of, I guess, dilutes it, makes it seem like fluffy and basic to me, but it's still really powerful. Tony Robbins' thing is he probably inspired all the other people on this list have probably listened to him, so definitely big guy to listen to. Wrote lots of self-improvement books. So for value, give him a 4 out of 5. Really good information, but it's kind of long and fluffy, like just like basic stuff. Kind of from a different era, where today in this era, like Dan Martell, Alex Hormozi, they know how to make really quick, concise content that gets a lot of views. His stuff isn't as much, which, it's whatever you like. I just like getting my content quickly and, just be able to understand and not just have to, wade through an hour-long podcast to find it. For delivery, I give him a 3.7. It's kind of long, but he's super wise and just fun to listen to. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh yeah, it's definitely got really great character. Just some of the stuff that he does. The stuff where you give money away. I can't pronounce it right now. Philanthropy. Yeah, there we go. Philanthropy. So he does a lot of that. He does gives a tons of meals away, like billions of meals to people. So the impact he's had is amazing. But it's pretty good to listen to. But I think there's other better ones to listen to. All right, final one. We got Michael Smoke from the Higher Up podcast. This guy I've just started recently listening to, and so far I like what he has to say. Specialty, I say, is like science-based, like health and lifting things. Talks about that. And just how to make good quality content, just communication skills. This guy's pretty young, so it's inspiring. I always like young people who are kind of just getting started, not like super advanced, like Tony Robbins, Dan Martell, Alex Hormozi. Those people are a little more advanced and out of reach. It's kind of hard to relate to them. But this guy, Hamza, at the beginning, E-Man, those people were pretty easier to relate to. So it helps you be more motivated. Like, hey, I can relate to that. I can see how he did that. I can see how he overcame that same thing I have. It really helps. So for value, I give him a 3.5. There's really good content. His science-based stuff, that was pretty much his main sphere of where he came from, is lifting science-based. So that's super, backed up by science, and he's done all that. Also his other just general information about speaking stuff is really relatable. He's pretty to the point. Really good. For delivery, I give him a 4.3. He's really good at communicating, get his point across. He does all these non-edited videos, but it's just, they're so entertaining and enjoyable to watch. They don't need edits. Some of his stuff is a little long. You could work on that a little bit, but it's pretty good. He's a good character. He's Christian. Definitely a cool guy that I would like to meet someday. Yeah, so that's all we have so far. People that I've listened to, and I've really enjoyed, listening to them. These people definitely shaped my self-improvement journey. I wouldn't be where I am without these guys. So now I set all these, numbers, rating them each. So it's going to be each out of 10. And I don't know if you kept track while watching along, but here we got final ratings, each one. I think Ed got the lowest score, which maybe you like Ed Milet's show. I just didn't as much. Alex Hormozi is my favorite by far. Really good, but there's some other ones that are close and they're really good. So definitely would recommend checking out these guys. And another thing that I'd like to mention is it's good to have multiple people to listen to. You don't want to just do only one person. A lot of their advice can be similar, but some of it's different. I just I like listening to Alex Hormozi because he's super advanced and stuff like that. A lot of his stuff is just too, it's for people who own $1 million businesses, which is not me. So sometimes listening to other people like Hamza, I really don't listen to him too much anymore, or the Higher Up podcast, where it's a little more relatable. Helps me stay motivated in the short term, because some stuff like Alex Hormozi talks about, or Dan Martell, is a little too intense for me. And I usually have 2 to 3 podcast people I listen to at a time. So right now I've been listening to a lot of Michael Smoke, Alex Hormozi, of course, Dan Martell. It's usually those are 3 I'm listening to a lot. Also some Grant Mitt too. But yeah, those are the people I listen to more. I might need to start listening to Andy Elliott more. But yeah, they're all really good. hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you're just trying to figure out, who you should listen to, I definitely recommend, if you're not listening to anyone, I would do that instead of just listening to music anytime in your car. It's inspiring, helps you stay focused on your goals. And there's lots of times where I'm just listening to someone, I just have to pause it and just think, because I'm just like, wow, my brain is just I'm just on fire. I'm just ready to get working. So definitely would recommend listening to at least one of these people, if not all or some of them. So with that, I'll be seeing you next video. Peace out.